And as you can see, this video shows a car braking two different times but in similar situations. The situation was that the car was driven at a high speed, and at that high speed the brake pedal was quickly stepped on. So it was more like an emergency stop type of situation. And as you saw in the first test, the car stopped very smoothly. But for the second test, it was actually really bad. Immediately the brake pedal was stepped on, the car started sliding in just one direction uncontrollably until it eventually stopped. And the funny thing was that it was the same car that was used in both of the tests, and also the same driver as you saw. In both of the tests, the cars were going at similar speeds and the brakes also were engaged at similar times. But what exactly made the results so different? Well, it's quite simple. In the first test, the car had ABS on, and in the second test, it had ABS off. So what exactly is ABS? Well, ABS stands for anti-lock braking system, and basically it's a technology in most cars nowadays. And what it does is that, as the name implies, it prevents the wheels of your car from locking up whilst you are braking. And don't worry, I'll explain what I mean by that. So when you take off the wheels from your car, you're going to be seeing something like a disc after that, and that disc there is called a rotor, and it is part of the brake system of your car. So basically, whilst you're driving your car and your wheels are spinning, the rotor too is spinning with it. So when you stop the rotor, you are basically also stopping the wheels. And that is generally, in a nutshell, how the brake system of most cars work. And what stops the rotor from spinning is something called the brake caliper. The brake caliper is kind of attached to the rotor. So as the rotor is spinning like this, the brake caliper with the brake pads in it will just clamp on it when the brake is engaged. Then that will stop the rotor from spinning and also stop your car from moving. So when your ABS is off, whilst the rotor is spinning and the brakes are applied, is going to stop the wheels from spinning at that moment. And because of the fact that the car is moving at a high speed, it is going to be producing a lot of force. And also because of the fact that the wheels are no more spinning because they've been stopped, the car is just going to slide uncontrollably until it eventually stops. And the problem with this is that whilst the car is sliding like that, because of the force, no matter how hard you try to turn the steering to change the direction, the car is not going to change direction. And this can be very risky in certain situations, and that is why ABS came in. So when ABS is on, whilst the rotor is spinning and the brakes are applied, it doesn't just lock it up like this, like how we saw in the previous one. But what it does instead is that it automatically applies and releases the brake several times over and over and over again. And by doing that, it gives the tires traction whilst you are braking, which allows you to be able to change direction or control the car in the event of an emergency brake. So if you see the ABS light on your gauge cluster whilst you are driving, then you definitely have to go and get